Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Get to Know the Pro. Today, we're continuing our quick interview series on UAG members. Today, we have another brand new UAG member, Aaron Reese. Welcome, Aaron.
Thanks.
So, as we were talking about before we started recording here, today's session is really just to get everybody to get to know you a little bit better, know who you are. You're new to the program. So give me some quick, actually, no, before we do quick impressions of the UAG, let's talk more about you. So why don't you tell the audience who you are, the name of your business, and the type of work that you do.
Okay. My name is Aaron Reese. I'm the owner and operator of Mow It Mulch It. I'm actually a part-time business owner. My full-time career is as a firefighter and paramedic here in Carmel, Indiana. I've been doing this. I've been in business since 2017. And I kind of started a little differently than some businesses. And other than that, this is my first year UAG and looking forward to it.
So you're going on to your fourth year of being a green industry pro, but you're part-time.
Correct.
So let's talk about that perspective for a minute, because I know there's a lot of guys out there that are also part-time doing this either as a side hustle just to make some extra money. Others are doing it to test the waters to see, I guess where they want to go with this business, if it's sustainable for them, if it's something that they like. There's lots of reasons why people run this business part-time.
Right.
What's your thinking around it, your strategy?
Mine is just staying, I use it as a way to stay in shape on my off days. Also, help building a little bit of a side business. So when I do retire, I have something I can still continue to do. For me, it's one of those things that I'd like to build something as well that my kids and my family can be a part of. And it just is one of those things that I only work in the community I live in. So for me, a lot of the work I do, I see as helping improve my community all around. So as far as the part-time aspect, I feel like, yes, it is a part-time job, but unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I do put full-time commitment into that part-time job. So I kind of see the community 24/7, really, whether it's my job as a firefighter or is in the lawn care industry. So
yeah, I'm glad you said that, because for me, this is something that I mean, I've been involved with this project now for 6 years, 7 years. And I know for me, I've always been of the mentality or of the thought, part-time work, full-time business. Is
right.
the fact that you run this part-time, meaning that you have another job potentially that you have to go to. In your case, it's fireman and paramedic, which is just insane to me. I can barely handle one job, let alone everything you're doing. Um, but it's still a full-time business. I mean, you still have, you still got to do your taxes. You still got to do the lead generation. You still got to do the customer service. You still got to own and maintain your own equipment,
Right.
regardless of the number of properties. So arguably, it's more difficult for somebody who's doing this part-time, because they got to have that or that trailer of equipment without necessarily having as many properties to mow, because you're doing it in less time. Or are you doing less properties than somebody who's managing it full-time?
I'm definitely doing less properties. I mean, right now with it just being myself as owner and operator, I can only get to so many accounts. I would say across any given year, anywhere from 20 to 30 clients for multiple services. Some I do mowings for, some I do full service everything for. But I'm trying to go deeper in the services for each of those clients rather than just expand on the number of clients. So that way I'm spending less time driving and I'm being more efficient and hopefully producing those same profit margins that those larger companies are, but doing it more efficiently. So
I'm noticing that there's a lot of people within our community that are firefighters, paramedics, police officers, basically first responders, that do this as either as a side hustle or again, for whatever reason they've chosen to start this business while being a first responder. What's the fascination with first responders and this industry?
I think that it's one of those things that, we're used to the labor side of things. We're used to getting our hands dirty. Obviously, in the green industry, we're all doing that a lot. I think it's also kind of a customer service aspect. Your you're communicating with strangers in the community, people you've never met before on the job. And then it allows you to communicate well with the people in the green industry as well. I mean, that's the biggest thing I think most of my clients have told me is that my communication is usually typically better than a lot of other companies. And when you read a lot of complaints out there about green industry companies, it's typically communication related. So I think being in the fire service, being able to interact with complete strangers, and then taking that and being able to transfer it over to the green industry is something that has helped a lot of guys. Plus, you expect the unexpected. I mean, in the green industry, there's never any day that's the same. Some guys out there will tell you, something's going to break down, you got to fix it. There's always something that's going to happen that you're not expecting. And in the fire service, there's a lot of times you're going to be caught off your toes and caught off guard. So.
Yeah, no, to me, that's fascinating. I figured that the answer would be just because you work, a lot of firefighters in particular would do like a 14-day on, 14-day off, or 10-day on, 10-day off kind of thing. I know police officers do a lot of that as well. So I figured, well, what am I going to do with 2 straight weeks of nothing to do? I might as well run a business and make some money.
Right.
So the first person who's actually said that it lends itself well to the type of personality or the training that you get in communications, because you're right. That is, when we read the forums on echomeansbusiness.com or in the mobile app, we're noticing that a lot of these guys know they're gearheads, right? They know how to take apart a mower and put it back together again blindfolded. They know how to, service a carburetor. They know how to mow grass and cut stripes, but they don't necessarily understand the business side of it and the importance of that communication.
Right.
So yeah, I find that fascinating. We got to work on some content around that, because I think it's important, the importance of communication.
Right.
In the green industry. It's not just about knowing how to cut grass and maintain tools.
Right. Yeah, you got to be able to communicate with those people as well.
Now, again, I think I've said this to you when we first met. I am in complete awe of first responders for the work that you guys do. I've had a personal tragedy in my life that first responders were there for me, were there for my family. And I think back on having to deal with that, not only, what they potentially find when they hit these places where there's been some kind of a tragedy, but then having to deal with the family members like me afterwards. And that just takes such an emotional toll on you. You've got a family, you got a little one running around in the background there that if we didn't have a background showing, you'd probably see him moving around, which is one of my favorite things about Skyping with you or Zooming with you. How do you manage this work-life balance with having a stressful job and then running a business and managing a family?
I think you just have to, over the last couple of years, I've had to get better at separating kind of the business from the personal with family. Family time is family time. I've gotten a lot better about that. I think it's like anything, anybody that has schedules like that, as well as a business, you're going to have those times where family and, you're going to butt heads about things. It's going to happen. You can't avoid it. It's not a perfect life trying to balance them. And you have to continually balance them. As my kids are getting older, they're competing more in practices, more sports, more activities. So I have to adapt as well. Just like they're adapting with their practices and their school and their lifestyle. So that's the biggest thing. I think is trying to find those times when family time is family time. When I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation. I try and let people know ahead of time, hey, I'm not going to be in contact. I usually have my phone on me just in emergencies, but I try not to answer it for business calls. So I think finding that fine line and balancing it and just being, and if you're struggling with it, you got to be upfront. Be upfront with your wife, your girlfriend, your family. Hey, I'm going to be busy this weekend. I need a few extra hands to run some kids to practices. Being open to that support, but at the same time, being realistic about, balancing the entire scope of all of it.
Yeah, it takes a community, that's for sure.
It does. Definitely takes a community.
Or a village, as they say.
Yeah.
So who do you lean on when you're stressed out and you can't handle it? Who do you lean on?
I would say, my wife and I both lean on each other. We both stress out about things. My dad, I'll go grab a beer with him and kind of chat with him if I'm stressed out about business stuff or about just life in general. I'm really close to my sister. I've got some friends spread across the country, one in Pittsburgh, one in Atlanta. I'll call them, text them. And for me too, just being at the fire station is, guys at work, my partner on the ambulance, I talk to him a lot. That's basically a second family. I'm there, a third of every year I'm at the fire station. So, they're a family too. So just being able to communicate with those people and have that network. So I'd say I have a bunch of people I talk to, just kind of when I do feel stressed out, just because there's different stressors. So
have you, how about within the industry itself? Have you been able to, form a line? You've been in now for 4 years, almost 4 years. Have you been able to form any alliances or friendships, partnerships, connections, networking with others in this industry that have helped you through those rough times?
Yeah, I've actually formed some partnerships with some guys that I work with, as far as, just relationships, that also have lawn care companies. When I've been out of town, I've had a few guys mow for me, which has been, huge and beneficial, which again, I think is another benefit to the shift, the shift personnel and the firefighters, the police officers. A lot of times they have those guys that they can trust their life with. And if they have a business, they should be able to trust that business with too, so there's guys that I've done things for, if I have, the other day I had a bunch of trimmer line that I'm going through things and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to go through this much trimmer line in the next year. And I asked one of the guys I work with that I, will help out from occasion. Hey, are you low on trimmer line? He's like, yeah, all right, here you go. I've got this extra spool that I've had for a while. I'm clearly not going to go through. So I'll give it to him. So yeah, I'd say the guys I work with are probably the biggest guys I've networked with the most. Obviously, we got Mike Gunn just north of me. I'm looking forward to networking with him. He's been around with UAG for a while. So definitely looking forward with the UAG to connect with a lot of the guys in the industry more. So
you're new to the UAG program. It's only been, not even a month since we've done our official launch.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions of the program, of the group?
I love it. Everybody is so willing to help each other and ask these questions. And we've all been, messaging back and forth. And, the joke is always tacos, but, but obviously we've messaged a lot about some topics that are going to be interesting to cover. I mean, I know for me, being a single owner and operator, my wife and I have been talking about, it'd be nice to have that one other person that can help me do things, even when I'm out in the field as well. To complete these mulch jobs and landscaping jobs a lot quicker and more efficiently. So that I know that's a topic that's going to be coming up here soon that is going to be interesting to listen to everybody's, insight on how they got to that first employee. But there's lots of topics. I mean, I'm trying to help guys out promote their YouTube channels. And I know there's other guys trying to help promote Instagram channels. So just the network and the amount of support that everybody's shown each other in the month alone has been overwhelming. So
I'm glad to hear that. That's good. That's what we're hoping for. And I think every year it gets better and better.
Oh yeah.
So what was one of the most challenging, I guess, days on the job in the lawn care business for you over the last 3.5, 4 years?
I would say, I mean, everyone seems to be, just because I'm on a shift schedule, and then you get the weather that gets thrown a curveball at you. I did it was a 12 or 14 yard mulch job by myself last year. And I would say that was probably the most challenging job, just because I was hurting by the end of it. And it took me a couple days on top of the fact that I had to do all my regular mowings. So, I think probably that toughest day is probably what made me realize, hey, I really need to have somebody else to help me out more than just, occasionally. I need somebody that I can count on. I can call at any time and say, hey, I've got a mulch job coming up. I need your help. Right now, a lot of times my nephew helps me out. But I
wonder if there's a strategy there with, having guys that work your shift that train one of those guys that's on your same shift as you, so they're available when you're available.
Right.
And just say, look, are you willing to be on call for these types of projects? Train them so they're always there.
Right. And I would say too, I mean, I think one of the other toughest parts, being upfront with customers, if something gets damaged on a job, that can be a tough day. And you just gotta own it. I had some damage done on a job last year. And I told the lady, I said, hey, it was a netting in front of a garage door. And those things are like $300 or something. So they're not cheap, but I said, hey, I'll replace it, whatever. She said, no, 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 no. And she would not take the replacement for it. So I went ahead and mowed her yard free a few times for free. So it essentially made up the difference because, I damaged it. I'm going to own the responsibility. So
that's good. I'm a little bit afraid to ask this question, but I think people that are listening to this probably want to know. So I'm going to ask the same question, but on your other job.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going back? You've been doing this now for a while as a first responder. What's been one of your most difficult days there?
I would say this last year has been rough just because of the pandemic, and going on those runs where we have those family members with cardiac arrests. Not being able to do a whole lot. Just there's a lot of stuff. A lot of hands are getting tied just because of the exposures, and I think that's the hardest part. Knowing that there's not much you can do, but still trying to console the families. There's certain runs that I would say there's multiple runs that stick with me no matter what. Will come back and I don't say haunt me, but they come back and it makes me think. And I would say probably the hardest runs are when you get those runs that come out on kids, especially now having a family and kids in mind. But I would say that this last year, it combined, it's probably been the toughest, just because there has been a lot of sleepless nights, especially in the beginning. So
yeah, I can totally imagine that. How do you take care of yourself in a situation like that? Like I know that first responders, the mental health of first responders is a precarious situation just because, just like, people coming back from war, there's a lot of PTSD that must be setting in with some of the trauma that you get to see. What do you do to take care of your mental health, your spiritual health?
I do attend church regularly. I am a practicing Christian, so that is huge for me, to be able to go every Sunday and kind of recharge and reset for the week, kind of reflect on what's happened. At work, talking to guys, it's guys that are on the run, kind of feel the same way. At first there's the firehouse, there's some humor a lot of times about things that kind of help alleviate some of the weight, but it never goes away. You can't stuff it back. You have to at least kind of let it go. You never forget those people that you lose, unfortunately. But I think knowing that you were there and you were the one to help them, try and help give them a chance, that's what really helps you get through it. Exercising is huge, and I think this career is great because it does help me keep me in shape. Exercising, getting plenty of sleep. They've shown in our career cancer is one of the biggest killers in the fire industry, and a lot of that is because of sleep. Exposures to chemicals, but sleep. Research has shown that sleep is when your body is healing the best. So getting that proper sleep, even though at the fire station sometimes it's not possible. But that's been the biggest thing is exercising, sleep, and just communicating with family and friends.
Well, let me tell you that if it means anything to you, as I said earlier, we've had, pretty much the ultimate tragedy in my family. And that night was the worst night of my entire life. And had it not been for the first responders and how they managed me and managed my family, I wouldn't be here today. That night was probably going to be my last night here on this earth. And I got to tell you that if it wasn't for what your compatriots did, over here where I live, I think it would have been, well, not I think, I know, because I know what was in my head, it would have been lights out for me. So if it means anything to you, you got to know that the work that you guys do, as tough as it is for you, do it. And remember, unfortunately, those bad times, knowing the impact that you have had on those who are left behind when you are in those situations where you've had to lose somebody.
Right.
The work you do is invaluable to us. So thank you on behalf of all of us that have had to interface with you guys. It's a good thing you do. So with that, what is the one, I want to leave it on a little bit of a lighter note than that. But it's been great to get to know you a little bit more on a personal level. I'm sure our audience feels the same way. So let's circle back to business a little bit. And then I'm going to ask a stupid question. So on the business side, what's the one tip that if there's anybody else, whether they're a first responder or not, that's looking to start this business on a part-time basis, what's the best tip that you want to leave them, or tips?
I would say be honest with people. I think a lot of people, when they first get into the business, they're trying to make themselves seem a lot bigger than they are. And I tell people, look, I'm a single owner operator. I in my logo, it says, proudly locally owned and operated by a firefighter. I let people know, hey, it's just me. I'll have people working with me occasionally, but I'm upfront with them. And there's probably jobs I've lost because I'm just a one-man band. They're looking for a huge company to come in, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather not get myself in a situation that's going to be, just stressing me out and wear me down. And again, part of that with that is communicating. Find how you can communicate well with your clients. Find out how you can communicate well with your family, which again, I'm still to this day working on. I think I always will be. And just like I said, be upfront, be honest, and learn how to communicate well. If you can do those things and you do great work, it'll sell itself.
Yeah, that's valuable advice. Valuable advice. All right, last question.
Yep.
If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why?
Oh man, avocado, because I eat avocados a lot. And I love guacamole. So I'd probably be an avocado, and there's always tons of great avocado jokes, right? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know I've read quite a few. So.
All right, that's good. That's the first time anybody has ever said avocado to me. So
I'm not sure, but it may not be a vegetable.
Is it a fruit?
It could be. It actually might be a fruit. I don't know, because it has a seed in it, right?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. We might have to call Paul Camara and ask him about that. He'll know that.
Let's somebody throw that into our UAG member chat. Maybe we can stop teasing me with everybody's taco recipes and taco pictures. We can start talking about avocados instead.
Yeah.
Listen, Aaron, it was fantastic chatting with you again today. I look forward to what this year has to bring.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it, Sam. Thank you.
So, why don't you tell everybody your where they can find you? Obviously, they can find you on Echo Means Business. Yep. All of the content and mentorship you're going to be doing will be there on the mobile app and on the website. But on social media, if they want to follow you,
pretty much I've been lucky. All my social media is at Mowat Mulch-It. As far as the hash, or not the hashtag, but the ID. My YouTube account I'm working on right now, trying to get some things put together for it. It's new to me, so that's one of the things I'm kind of exploring, especially with some of these guys that are in UAG now. But Instagram, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and then just www.mowatmulchit.com is my actual website.
Cool. All right, thanks everybody. Go check them out on our UAG, or sorry, either the UAG profile on the website or on our mobile app. Until next time, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, Sam.